This was no longer a straightforward pursuit. Hundreds of wild boars surged into the field when it was still dark outside. Without showing any mercy, they were eliminated in a span of less than 1 minute. The truth is, what took place? Your eyes are going to blow your mind. A hidden fight between a man and a ravenous gang of wild boars is taking place beneath the moonless sky of Colorado. Cornfields, which were previously thought to be serene, are now hiding a silent war. They are not only animals, rather they are wild dancers of the night, executing ballet across new corn rows with feet that resemble bulldozers, leaving behind trails that look like a fall storm that has just passed. They move stealthily, like assassins with a refined palate, emerging from the shadows and spreading across the field like an invading army in the middle of the night. Not only does each step smash the crops, but it also crushes the sleep of the farmer. During the night, there is no longer a period of rest. Rather, it is an alarm hour when corn falls like snow in the early morning hours, and every rustle could be the beginning of a fresh invasion. In spite of the fact that wild boars may appear to be nothing more than common wild animals, they pose a significant risk to both agricultural production and the natural ecosystem. The average weight of these animals is from 100 to 200 pounds, and they have powerful bodies, sharp tusks, and the capacity to move in groups that are coordinated with one another. They have become quite destructive machines in the countryside. The destruction of several acres of crops, the trampling of vegetation, and the uprooting of fertile soil can all be caused by a herd in just one night, leaving farmers with staggering economic losses. Even more worrisome is the fact that wild boars reproduce quickly, particularly during the winter months, which is a time when their population increases as well as when they actively expand their range. The invasive nature of these plants not only causes damage to harvests but also upsets the natural equilibrium of the ecosystem, putting native species in danger. Worse still, their presence in close proximity to residential areas causes risks to people, both in terms of their property and their lives, because they have the potential to become hostile when they are threatened or fed. Every day, governments like Colorado are forced to deal with this pressing problem. It is a challenge that cannot be ignored. What steps would you take if you were a farmer to ensure that your crops were safe from wild boar disease? In the comment section below, please share your ideas. Because of the dexterity and danger posed by wild boars, hunters in Colorado are compelled to rely on cutting-edge technology in order to retake control over their property. This conflict is no longer only between man and beast. Rather, it is a clash that takes place in the cover of darkness, with night vision scopes and high-grade thermal devices serving as the only sources of illumination. In order to detect body heat that may be concealed behind thick grass or dense vegetation, hunters are equipped with thermal binoculars. Additionally, night scopes enable hunters to aim precisely even when there is no visibility from the outside. Humans, technology, and dogs that have been taught are all components of the night hunting squad, which functions like a well-coordinated machine. When it comes to locating targets, directing the team, and providing early warnings, the dogs play a crucial role in maximizing the likelihood of success while simultaneously limiting the hazards involved. The hunt is no longer a straightforward endeavor. Rather, it has evolved into a strategic counteroffensive that is driven by technology, accuracy, and strategy. The hunting of wild boars in the state of Colorado is not merely a method for protecting crops. Rather, it is an activity that is subject to stringent legal regulations by the state. This is because wild boars are considered to be an invasive species, which means that residents are allowed to hunt them during the entire year. To ensure that nighttime hunting techniques are conducted in a manner that is both lawful and subject to stringent inspection, the use of specialist equipment such as night vision scopes or traps necessitates the acquisition of special permits. Additionally, laws require that traps be examined on a daily basis in order to reduce the possibility of non-target creatures being harmed. When it comes to hunting, ethics is an important factor to take into account. From the way traps are set to the way animals are handled after the hunt, everything must adhere to humane ideals. On the other hand, anybody who participates in hunting is required to go through the appropriate training. It is essential that you have a minimum of 3 to 6 months of experience, which includes abilities such as the ability to handle firearms, tracking, and understanding the habits of wild boars. In addition to this, they need to have a strong understanding of the local ecosystem in order to protect themselves and prevent causing any harm to the natural environment. When it comes to the fight against wild boars, steel traps are a vital piece of equipment. Despite the fact that contemporary technology offers substantial assistance, it is the mechanical traps that play a major role in the control of the situation on the ground. In locations where there are indications of boar activity, traps are typically set up using a bait mixture consisting of corn and molasses, which is a combination that has an irresistible attraction. When the boar makes contact with the trap, it immediately closes. Quickly. Exactly right. A confined space is used to confine the animal, hence reducing the threats that are posed to both people and the environment in the surrounding area. On the other hand, a trap is not merely a tool. It also comes with a weight of duty. Every day, traps in the state of Colorado are required to be inspected by law. With no exceptions. The purpose of this is to prevent other species of wildlife from being caught by accident. When it comes to efficacy, humanity is the most important factor. It is only through the correct setting of the trap and the thorough inspection of it that it is possible to achieve a balance between the protection of agriculture and the preservation of the ecosystem. In this ongoing conflict, a seemingly insignificant action can have a significant impact. A wild boar might be caught in the trap one night, but what if it turns out to be something else? But what if the trap snaps shut on the wrong target? Imagine checking the cage at dawn only to find a frightened deer, a raccoon, or even a black bear cub. These are moments that remind hunters and farmers alike that the war against wild boars is not without collateral consequences. It's a razor's edge balance. One mistake, and you risk endangering the very wildlife that shares the land. That's why hunters in Colorado have begun experimenting with smart traps. Equipped with motion sensors and remote cameras, these devices send alerts directly to a smartphone. Instead of springing shut blindly, the trap waits for human confirmation. A single click can decide whether the steel jaws close or remain open. It's no longer just muscle against muscle, but intelligence against instinct. Yet, even with traps and technology, there is a growing realization. This is not merely a hunting story. It is an ecological chess game. Wild boars are intelligent, adaptive, and quick to learn. A herd that survives one ambush will often change its patterns the very next night. They memorize danger zones, shift routes, and even use cover like seasoned soldiers. Some locals now call them the shadow army of the forest. And when the shadow army evolves, so must its adversaries. Farmers are turning to drones armed with thermal cameras, flying above the fields like silent hawks. From 200 feet in the air, the movement of even a single boar glows bright against the cold earth. Drones don't just detect, they guide hunters on the ground, closing the gap between predator and prey. Still, the most surprising weapon in this battle isn't man-made at all. It's nature itself. Packs of coyotes and even mountain lions are slowly reappearing in some parts of Colorado, drawn by the abundance of wild boars. These natural predators, once seen as threats to livestock, are suddenly becoming reluctant allies. Their presence helps tip the balance of the ecosystem back toward equilibrium. And yet, the danger remains. Each year, wild boars continue to spread, expanding their range northward and westward, infiltrating new farmlands, even creeping closer to suburban edges. Today, it's the cornfields of Colorado. Tomorrow, it could be the gardens, the streets, the very backyards of small-town America. So the question isn't just, how do we hunt them? It's, how do we live with them? Will humans find a sustainable way to coexist with this relentless invader? Or will the countryside be forced into an endless war under the cover of darkness?